pays for all this? We hold the patents on a few gadgets that we confiscated from out-of-state visitors. Velcro, microwave ovens, liposuction. This is a fascinating little gadget. It's going to replace CDs soon, so I'll have to buy the White Album again.
Oh man, I wish they'd actually release this. Imagine how different the world would be right now if that disc had actually come out. Oh. Ah, discs. This circular format has been around for more than 40 years now, many shapes and sizes. Well, just sizes. While not as popular now, this thing has done it all: movies, music, and much more. Even its distant relative, the cassette, hasn't had this many versions of mainstream success. Okay, now let's start off with the CD. This was invented back around 1979, but took a while to take off because of its high price. I do have some CDs that were made in the 80s, but it was mostly the 90s and early 2000s where CDs were used the most. Of course, cassettes were coming out of convenience, and the alternative was these shiny circles. These new discs could skip songs in a second and didn't require you to flip the side halfway through an album like on a cassette. However, it was clear that the CD couldn't last forever. It had its own issues, such as being easily scratched and being much bigger than the compact cassettes. We'll come back to what happened next later, but first let's jump into the movie side of things. Now, one of the first disc-shaped movie formats was Laserdisc. Originally called DiscoVision and released around 1978, these discs were about the same size as a vinyl record, and unlike later disc formats, were analog. Now, at the time, this format was seen as a lot more advanced than the common VHS tape. However, they were much more expensive, so they never truly caught on like VHS did. I do find it funny that around this time the record had been replaced by the cassette in terms of music for being more small and compact, but they expected this new form of movie watching to replace the VHS. However, it wasn't just that. The Laserdisc often featured two sides, which meant that you had to get halfway through the film and get up to change it, and often included multiple discs because it wouldn't hold a full film. Now after that, you may be wondering why people bought this, and there was a clear reason. Before the invention of the DVD, the Laserdisc was the one way to view special features and directors' commentaries on movies, meaning that it was often more popular with film fans than just average consumers. Similar to the Laserdisc was the CED. This actually came out later, around 1981, but was discontinued much sooner, around 1984, while the Laserdisc was around 2008. Think about VHS and Betamax, this was similar to those two. And unlike the Laserdisc, CED discs never came out of their packaging, but were instead fully placed into the machine with the packaging coming back out. I guess this was a good idea as it prevented scratching, but it just seems strange to me compared to everything else. Of course, you know what happens next. The VHS was taken over by the DVD. This was the newest disc in the disc lineage and was a CD-sized movie player. However, there were many other attempts at compact discs with video, such as VCD, that could never truly take over the DVD. Now, much to my disappointment, a new disc was soon invented for HD DVD viewing, Blu-Ray. This format was owned by Sony and quickly overtook its competitor, the HD DVD. But more recently, more discs have arrived, such as 4K Ultra HD. Most of these are just DVDs that are better or higher quality, but they will never beat the true original in popularity. Now, cast your mind back to when I said that there was an answer to the CD. Well, I wasn't lying. The MiniDisc was what I was hinting at. The MiniDisc was launched around 1992 and was a much smaller audio disc. Now, the smaller form factor meant that they were more portable, and they had a clear casing around them, which meant that they couldn't be easily scratched, and even had less issues with skipping. To add to that, they had the exact same capacity as a CD, but in this smaller form factor. This seems like an instant success, a great idea and a natural step for music formats. But it wasn't. The MiniDisc was more expensive than the CD and therefore less popular. They also came around at a bad time as MP3 music and iPods were right around the corner and people were more excited to have invisible music than the ones that they stored on a circle. I think it's a real shame that the MiniDisc never caught on, as it was a really great format, yet convenience always strikes first. Now, the MiniDisc did catch on more in Asia and even lasted a bit longer, while here it only lasted until 2013, and by then it wasn't used anyway. Well, unfortunately, we live in the universe where the mini-disc never caught on and that weird disc thing from Men in Black never actually existed. I guess it would have never mattered anyway, I mean... Wait, hang on a second. Breaking news! For some reason that we don't know, the mini-disc has finally been released after being hinted at in Men in Black. Do you remember it? Guys? I'm gonna listen to some CDs. Now